Thank you so much for watching. My name is Katie and this is where I talk about what I've been making. Today it's a little more unusual because I have more sewing and crochet, but I have a little bit of stitching to also update you on. So I'm going to talk about my stitching first since I just have one thing that I want to introduce, and it is part of my Make 9 this year, and that is the Hello Halloween sampler. This is a pattern by Teresa Kogut. It can be found in her Hello Halloween book. That was part of last year's expo. I just really loved this. I loved seeing it actually done up in a frame, and I thought that would be so fun to just have and finish into a fun project to put a little bit of Halloween decoration around the house, hopefully this year, but I'm not going to hold myself to it. It is on my Make 9 just because I wanted to mix it up a little bit and have a little bit of stitching on there. I found that I dabbled in other stuff a lot more last year, even though my Make 9 was strictly knitting. So I wanted to change it up a little bit this year, and that is why I added this. And I have a good little start on it. This is done on 36 count vintage country mocha. So I'm doing it mostly in the recommended DMC, which are gorgeous colors. But I also really loved how rustic some of the variegated yarns made it look. So I decided to try two. These are my first kind of hand dyed variegated yarns I've ever used, so that has been really fun. And it is this onyx color in Weeks Dye Works. And I also went with the classic Color Works in Colonial Copper. But I also have the backup DMC color, which is a tad different, but it's still a really beautiful color. But I'm using that for the small bits where the variegated yarn might not shine quite as much, just to make sure that I don't have to buy a whole bunch of it. That's also why I decided to use 36 count linen, because I was initially going to start this and did start it on a 32 count, and I was holding two strands to make it look a little fuller, and I was just eating through the floss way too quickly, and it still looked a little sparse to me because I'm not used to just doing one strand over two, but holding it back, it looks great, and I've gotten used to it once I just get a little bit of distance, and I'm getting used to the process. Also, my tension is probably not perfect, but I think it just adds to it. I really love the vintage rustic-y feel that kind of works with the sparseness and the variegated yarns. I just think this is going to be really fun, and I'm hoping to come up with a cool way to display it. I'm thinking maybe finishing it as a pennant or something for the wall. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this goes, and hopefully this will be a finish this year, but I don't know, it's really fun to work on, so it's very possible. So as we jump into this next section, which will kind of be a sewing crochet hybrid, I wanted to talk about a project that I completely forgot about because I made it and put it away as kind of a piece that I just want to have as a layer, and that is my Cynthia shirt by VikiSews. This is actually another one that was on my Make 9 this year, so that's really exciting because thanks to sewing, I now have two that are already finished. This was one that I just wanted to pretty much make to wear under vests and under different layers, and since I don't have those layering pieces and garments yet, it's just kind of been sitting in my closet because I don't have much of a use for a nice white button-down shirt on the daily. But I am really excited to use this one. I am hoping to get around to some of my vest making very soon. I decided to kind of pivot away from a lot that I was knitting though, because it is already 80 degrees here. I just decided to go ahead and go all the way with my spring and summer wardrobe that I've been planning. In the last video, I talked a little bit about that. I showed you some inspiration that I found for some fabric that I recently purchased, and I wanted to kind of spring and summerify this outfit and make something really nice and flowy to wear. So as a starting place, I was using the Skye pattern by fabricstore.com, which is a free pattern online. I just wanted a very loose, nice and flowy silhouette. I made this up, and while I still really like the fabric, I was not holding up the way that I wanted it to. A combination of the weight and with all of the buttons, it just kind of hung a little too low and I just wasn't loving how it was draping. So I decided to lop off a good amount of the bottom of it and make it into kind of a tunic length, I guess. It could be worn as a dress, I guess, if you're careful. There would probably just be a kind of over the swimsuit situation, or mainly worn as a long shirt. So that's been going well, and I have these really pretty natural wood buttons on it. And I decided to take it a step further and add a trim. Now, the original inspiration, it looked like there was a little bit of texture around the trim, and what it reminded me of was a picot bind-off. I really love like the little bobbly sort of look, and since I didn't know exactly how to get that, and I didn't want to order a pom-pom trim and it be something that I was not anticipating and not liking it. So I decided to just make my own trim. And I did this by just crocheting picot stitches made up of about 3 chains. I didn't want anything too big, but it definitely is there. And this is in a fingering weight cotton. But I've just started attaching it to the hem, and I really love how it looks so far. It's just a really nice feminine detail to a top that I think is going to look very casual once it's all said and done. I am attaching it by hand right now because with the way that it kind of curls up and stuff, I wanted to have as much control as possible, and I think it might still curl, but like I said, this is going to be just a really fun, flowy, casual top, so it doesn't have to be anything completely refined or polished. I just am super excited, and I think this will be really fun to play with once I have it finished. I'm also working on crocheting another garment. One of my other pieces that I really wanted for this spring or summer was a crochet kind of button-down top, and I saw all of these really beautiful inspiration photos, and I didn't really know exactly how to incorporate that. Crochet is still very new to me, so I'm not always able to anticipate how a certain weight or stitch is going to wear or fall or drape, and so I decided to just go for it with some of that same cotton wool that I have, the Cascade Pima cotton, and I'm just working on a simple granny square stitch square for the back of the shirt, hopefully. I have just been going. I want this to be loose fitting, and so I've just been going. I feel like I am almost to the point to where I am happy, but I just really want to make sure I have a lot of room. And then what is great about crochet in this stitch is how easy it is to just pick up and work from any position. And I mean, you can do that with knitting too, but it's just really nice to find out new things and realize that something is simpler than I thought it was going to be. So yes, once I get to a point where I am happy with the size of this, then I'm going to start deciding how I want to work it. If I want to try to just build on with the shoulder pieces and then work out for sleeves, because really, now that I kind of can visualize patterns and the parts that I need to do, I think I can do quite a bit with the freedom of shaping crochet and then not having to have quite so much to seam up, which I will always take. But yeah, I think that this is shaping up to be a really fun wear. I'm really enjoying the process of it as well. It's been really fun to work on, and it's just a really super simple thing to pick up and just throw stitches in without having to look at any charts or carry around a lot of materials. So that has been a nice change of pace. So yeah, that is what I have right now. It feels weird not having so much to talk and show about, but it's only been a couple weeks and I'm used to taking months between my videos. So Yeah, I'm trying not to overwhelm myself and just working on what I want to, and I have quite a few different projects that are keeping me busy and happy. I'd say besides that, my goal is also to just finish up a couple of whips that I've been working on, sewing wise especially. I have a Rory jumpsuit that I started with some fabric store linen. I was having trouble with it and getting frustrated, and then I put it down and have not picked it back up in a long time, so I'd like to go back to that and work on that. And then I also need to find the motivation to take apart both of my Esther dresses. They both have fit issues, and I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do about that yet, but I need to start working on it so that I have them for spring and summer this year instead of next year. But yeah, that is all I have to share with you for now. As always, share what you've been making and what you've been enjoying. Hope that you are having a lovely spring, and I will hopefully see you sooner than later. Bye.